7 goals and 4 assists in 16 games for Crystal Palace. Micheal Olise is top of the radar for several major Premier League clubs, including Manchester United, who are believed to be leading the race to sign the 22-year-old winger. Welcome to the United Hotspot. My name is Webb. Guys, I do remind you to subscribe, share this video, and like it because the transfer talk is starting before the summer even gets here. I love this. Now, listen, Micheal Olise has been linked to Manchester United for so long, from as early as the last transfer window. Then in January, it was amplified, saying that this boyhood fan of Manchester United, an avid one at that, has always been a priority for INEOS. Now, it is turning out that the competition is beginning to look tight for him. It's beginning to look stiff because he has impressed ever since he returned from a major, a long layoff for injury at Crystal Palace. He has turned up and he has been balling. So clubs like Arsenal are interested in Micheal Olise. Liverpool too were linked with him. So was Chelsea, which he denied in the last summer. He said, "I'm not going to Chelsea. If it's London, I would rather start Crystal Palace." But the thing here is, Olise has now been convinced that Manchester United want him. That is one. And it is said the player himself, whereas he knows that United will not be playing the Champions League, he would be willing to join the club he supported as a kid. Remember, he's a UK born, he's a homegrown player. Never mind him probably choosing to play for France, but he's born in Hammersmith. He's a homegrown player, he's considered. And INEOS have made it clear that they would prioritize signing homegrown players first. Now, perhaps because it's easier for them to acclimatize, but also the terms in terms of payments will not be crazy like some of these foreigners. So Micheal Olise, his price tag is believed to be between 50 to 60 million pounds. Now, whereas United, that's according to his buyout clause that he renewed in his contract. Now, whereas United do not have so much money to spend, as we know, they believe they will raise money enough to get some of the key players they want. And Olise is one of those. It seems to be at least confirmed. And with the realignment going on between Jason Wilcox and Erik ten Hag and everyone who is involved in the whole transfer situation, they are now beginning to leak one top priority after the other. So Olise is one of those. Beautiful stuff happening. And well, this is again confirmation that United now has made it clear the intention is for them to sell Mason Greenwood. When they get the money, they will sign a right winger, because the plan, the long-term plan, is for Alejandro Garnacho to take over the left. Olise comes as the lead guy on the right. Then Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho and Anthony will be sold. That's the idea. That would be the ideal thing for INEOS to do, and they seem to be pushing for that. So they are still undeterred in their pursuit of Micheal Olise. The reality is, not so many people will doubt his abilities. I think he's a wonderful footballer, exciting, modern winger at that, because United has been known for having wingers, the best wingers from the David Beckhams of this world and the likes, but they were different profiles back then. Today, if you talk about the best wingers in the Premier League, I think you need those players who can play inverted. Olise is left-footed, can invert himself and play flying in from the left. So he's certainly a player who fits the description of a modern winger that Manchester United would want to invest in, and clearly they are intent on doing that. So that's the latest update when it comes to the transfers, and INEOS and the team are trying to do things fast so that by the time we get to June, they should be able to make moves, because with the competition that will be there for some of these key players, United wants to move early. Prepare yourselves early, make your decisions, get your money, sell players so fast in June, and then be able to sign the players you need, so that by the time we get into the preseason, most of the players are already there. That's the idea. Now, there's also another update that is dropping. Well, this is about our manager saying that Erik ten Hag, and it has come through from a credible source in Germany, that Erik ten Hag is on the list of the managers that Bayern Munich are looking at to replace Thomas Tuchel. Interesting. Ajax want him back, but now Tuchel, who is linked strongly to Manchester United, is leaving at the end of the season, and now it is said that Erik ten Hag is on the list of those that could replace him. That would be an interesting switch, rare one in football, isn't it? But yeah, it's just a report coming through from Germany. There's also another report that came out. Actually has been confirmed by Fabrizio himself, that Erik ten Hag has confirmed that United wanted Harry Kane United did want Harry Kane in the summer transfer window because they were sure he was at first priority. I've told you before, and Erik ten Hag is beginning to reveal the things that he has not really signed the first priority of players he has wanted, and maybe that as well can be a good excuse for him to be given time because his first priorities, I think most of his first priorities he hasn't signed because he wanted Harry Kane, he has confirmed it, to come in as a striker because he had, remember before Kane joined Bayern. But we know that Daniel Levy would never sell to Man United. But we also know that the price was too much and United couldn't afford it. Bayern Munich paid 100 million for Harry Kane. So he said because he was proven and he would guarantee you 30 goals a season. But he says they couldn't get him. That's why they went for a prospect in Rasmus Højlund, whom he believes can also score 30 goals, but it needs time to do that. With Harry Kane, he would instantly go on to win it. So he seemed to have a plan that he thought would give him title competition, put him in title competing positions instantly. But the lack of finances made it difficult for him to get those players. So the hope is that in this summer transfer window, he will get the players he's prioritizing as number one to come in. We all know the players like Kim Mijé that he thought were his first priorities to bring in the summer, but he didn't get. So then how he ended up getting, Sofiane Amrabat instead of getting, holding midfielders like De Jong, the players who is the one he wanted from way back. So it shows you that perhaps there are all right reasons to give him time to try and get him what he wants, then judge him on the account of that, because the reality is there are some signings that he has got right. So that's what's going on with Erik ten Hag. But he believes that in Højlund they got an able deputy. He's younger than Harry Kane. And he can score 30 goals given the time. So that's where we are. So, but in terms of first priorities, it's clear now that Micheal Olise is a top priority for Manchester United. Is a first priority in this summer transfer window. It is clear that Joao Neves could be a top priority. Jean-Claire Todibo as well is still a top priority. In fact, he might be leaving Nice, and United seems to be the likely destination for him. So that's a bit of progress, if you ask me, going on when it comes to these transfers here at Manchester United. So that's the whole wrap up of what's happening when it comes to transfers right now. So the mood has shifted from just the Crystal Palace game on Monday. The focus now is on which players Manchester United will be going for, which players Manchester United will be signing. And trust you me, we strongly believe it's going to be a busy summer for Manchester United. There are so many positions to fill, but the money can be got if the players are sold. Now, Jadon Sancho is probably the player who can bring in the most amount of money now, probably him and Bruno if he's sold, because they said they are open to offers from for all the players but three. But Sancho and Bruno, most likely Sancho because he's younger and he was bought for, he could be priced at the bottom. By the way, the most expensive player at United now could cost about 40 to 45 million tops, not 50. So, but if you see how if you sell four such players for 30, 40, I think it's good enough for us to have a fee that can help the club do something in the summer. That can help the club scratch the summer transfer window, if I would say it. So the competition will be tight because many clubs want players, but United are putting themselves in a good position to be able to go out there and really compete for all the top signings that they do want to bring in. For now, the talk of the Erik ten Hag job might be at a halt. It is now planning for the summer, planning for the transfer window, and we see how far it will go. But on the Micheal Olise, and as I wrap up, on the Micheal Olise situation, you look at Micheal Olise and how he plays, put him on the right, put Garnacho on the left, keep Bruno as your 10 in the event that he doesn't go, Højlund up top, and I think that looks like an exciting four. I think that looks like an exciting attack. If Bruno is kept as a number 10, disciplined, playing as a 10, not dropping a lot, I think it is an exciting attack because Micheal Olise also loves to switch. So he can switch with Garnacho. Garnacho goes on the right in moments. Then Micheal Olise goes on the left. He scores all forms of goals. He's good with set pieces as well. By the way, he's a beautiful free kick taker. I feel, I think for me, he would be a promising one. I think we're beginning now to get used to the idea that Mason Greenwood may not return. By the way, we're getting used to the idea that the intention might be to sell Mason Greenwood. Now, if that is so, I think Micheal Olise is the second next best option to come and take over the right wing at Manchester United. So let's wait and see how it goes. But United are willing, are undeterred. They are willing to break the bank if they have to sign Micheal Olise, because they know how important that wing position is in this modern game. My name is Webb. Subscribe. I'll be back later.